Hello, everyone. I am 𝐦𝐤𝐤𝐞, CEO of Say Yes to Profits. And today I have one of my fabulous, phenomenal clients with me, Miss Allison, the owner of OMGirl Alli, as well as Black Being. Allison, welcome to the Say Yes to
Thank
Profits podcast.
thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So I wanted you to join the podcast. We've been working together for several months now. And I just wanted you to come on and give your experience about the service for both companies and a little bit of feedback as well about what you do. So you ready to get started?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right, Allison. So I guess we can start off with, how did we meet?
Oh, we met several months ago, I would say towards like the fall of last year, right?
Yes.
And I was in a cohort for small business entrepreneurs that were, supporting that. It was all about supporting us in our business. And you did a presentation, and I was so moved by what you were sharing through the language that you use and how you talked about numbers for me. And I had already been thinking about needing someone on my team that could support me with the finance part of things, which isn't like my strong suit in some ways. And so that's how I met you. And yeah, that's how we're
Yeah,
here
and
right now.
I remember too because after the presentation, I sent out a link for everyone to just kind of have a conversation with me about any questions that they had, what their takeaway was from the presentation. And I remember when you and I met and you started to talk about needing the service, and I was so unprepared. Remember, I was like, oh wait, I wasn't prepared.
I already knew.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
wait, so okay, so let me pull up the service outline. Do you remember that? I was like,
I
so
do, because
unprepared.
when you gave your presentation, I already knew, because I had already been looking for someone. I had been looking for a bookkeeper. I had been looking for someone to support me financially. And so when you gave the presentation, I was like, she just basically gave me everything right now that I need. So I'm ready to start. So
Yes, you came to the meeting like that, and it was just funny because I was like, I wasn't prepared. I was just here to answer any questions that you had. So
yeah.
I'm super grateful for the organizer of the group, because we actually signed a couple of clients, but it was just funny because I was like, I just wasn't prepared. But yeah, definitely we can help. But
Yeah.
I think I mentioned, I said, the presentation is not going to be all pretty because I wasn't
Right.
ready, but
Right. I kind of caught you
nevertheless,
off guard.
yes, you did. But I definitely want to say thank you so much, for being a client of Say Yes to Profits. I love working with you. You are very calm, and like, it's almost like a very relaxed conversation when we talk. Like, your energy is just very soothing. So
Thank you. Thank
yeah,
you.
thank you. So, okay, so let's get back to the question. So, what challenges were you facing before we began to work together that really made you feel like, okay,
Yeah.
now is the time to hire an accountant?
Oh, okay. So I have been feeling that for years. Like I was just feeling the stress of like my business felt like it was growing, right? But I didn't quite know if it was because I was so busy working. I was
Mhm.
just like constantly grinding, contract after contract and doing that. I didn't really have a system for any of it. I didn't have a system of how to pay myself. I didn't have a system for anything. I just knew this is what I needed to do and this is what I do. And I had been doing that for several years because honestly, this organization for OMGirl Alli, it started off as just my passion work, me leading wellness work and meditation and all of these things that it just was the work that I was doing in the community. And then it wasn't until I was starting to feel the pressure of like finances and all of these things. And I realized like, okay, something needs to change here, but I
Mhm.
don't know what. And I think it was also applying for the cohort is when I realized I had been doing all of this work, but I didn't even have the reporting, like the balance sheet, things that people were asking for me to really like be a part of programs to even share because I had never done those things.
Mhm.
And for me, I wanted to get those. I wanted to have reports. I wanted to be able to see the numbers and the progress that I was making rather than just being so in it. And so that was a big challenge for me.
Mhm.
um, and yeah, that was the challenge that I was experiencing. That I'm sure you're gonna ask me next around yeah, how that helped, but I'll just stick with the challenge for now. That was the challenge.
But you know, believe it or not, a lot of business owners are currently, and some probably not anymore, were in the same position that you were
Yeah.
in, because we often, as small business owners, we get into business. Sometimes it just happens, right? You're passionate about something, you start to
Yes.
do it, and then, you know, like in your case, others call and you're just out in the community and you're like, oh, wait, I have a business, right?
That was me. That was so me.
But a lot, I'm pretty sure someone that is listening to us right now can relate to that. And
Yeah.
in your case, passion turned to profit, because I remember when we first met and we looked at your numbers and you were like, oh wait, like you had done amazingly well for the short time period in which you start to operate as a business.
Yeah.
But believe it or not, Allison, the same place you were in, we meet a lot of business owners that are just, they love what they do, and then something sparks the feeling like, okay, I really need to get a foundational structure to this,
Yeah.
because it's no longer a hobby, or it's no
Yeah.
longer just a passion. It is
Yeah.
an actual operating company.
Yeah. And that's what I saw. I saw people seeking me out to do some of this work, but then I didn't have the things, like I didn't have any contracts in place. I didn't have any, I was just like, okay, let me do this. And that was causing me more work to have to figure
Mhm.
that out and not have everything in place of like, and not have like legit business, I guess. It
Yeah,
felt like I didn't, And so
yeah.
I wanted to have the things in place to be able to say like, oh no, I know what I'm doing. And because, I wanted to make sure the work that I was doing, that, that everything else that I had was in place to give it the respect and like that it needed, that it should have.
Right, right. And you had a business, right? You
Yeah.
honestly had a business. You had a very profitable business. You had a great business. When we started doing your books, I was like, oh, she's doing exceptionally well. And remember, we, like I just mentioned, you know, we talked about that. So you may have felt like the foundation wasn't there, but from the finance side, as far as your
Yeah.
cash flow, your revenue, and things like that, you were doing really well. So I just want to say, you know, give yourself a pat on the back. And I think I've said that to you several times. You were honestly doing really, really well.
Thank you. Thank you. And honestly, I credit, working with you and your team to help me to see that, because I didn't see that. I didn't know that. Honestly, I was just so in it and which is, what's that challenge is. And I think that what has helped me on the other side of being able to see every time I have a meeting with y'all every month. I look at the numbers. I go in nervous because I'm like, I don't know what I did. And then I leave feeling like, oh, I'm that much percent over last year.
Mhm.
Okay. I see
Yeah.
this. Like, and it helps to calm me. It helps me to know that I'm on the right path and I'm doing the right things.
Absolutely. And you see what you just said, when you leave the meeting, you're like, oh, I am that much percentage over the target, right? I'm
Yeah.
over, not even meeting it, you're exceeding that. And
Exceeding
that's
it.
a great feeling. And that's what you want to accomplish in your business. So
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, because then even you see sometimes you see these things, and when you don't see it, well, at least for myself, when I don't see it, I have it in my head like, oh, I'm not doing great. I need to be doing harder. I need to be doing more. But when you see the numbers, it lets you know, oh, slow and steady, slow and steady.
Yep.
You're continuously going up and keeping that steady pace so that you can start moving more towards the profit that we want.
Absolutely. You crawl before you walk, and before you know it, you're at a position where you're like, yes, say yes to profits. You're there. And you
Hey,
were you were doing that. So yeah. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
So what made you, and I think you kind of answered this before, but I'll still ask it, what made you ultimately say yes to working with us?
Yeah, I didn't say this. So one thing that really stood out for me is actually two things in particular. When we were on the call and you were doing your presentation, you were asking us like kind of a question to the group of what do we think, is the reason why many Black businesses like, fail and, after the first couple of years. And I was the one who answered it because I kind of knew this already, but I was like, financial literacy. And you were like, yes. And that honestly, you even just asking that question was like, yes, I know she is doing the work of supporting people with financial literacy, which I could tell already in the language that you use, how you talk about it, you make it easy to understand. And that presentation around finances, right? That I was like, okay, this is somebody that I want to work with, because although I'm a researcher, I try to find out things. I also want someone to give it to me straight, to give me the information, how I can take it in, because I have a lot of other things that I'm thinking about, that I'm trying to learn, that I don't want to spend so much time being caught up in numbers so much. So that was something that was one thing. And the second thing, and I think I told you this, is you reminded me a lot of my godmother, who I lost her a couple years ago. And she was always just like a go-getter, was such an entrepreneur, and how she talked. And she would often say, you need to work, I get it mixed up sometimes, you need to be working on your business, not in your business, or something. And then you said that, and I was like, this is the person that I need to be working with.
Absolutely.
So those are the two reasons why I said yes.
Yes, 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 yes. And even to piggyback off of that, a lot of times, and you mentioned it earlier, a lot of times we work in the business, like we are the technician, we're out in the field, we're meeting with the clients, and all of those things are important, right? We're doing the marketing, this, that, and the third. They are very important, but as a CEO, we have to take a step back and plan and monitor the progress and change accordingly. Like, we have to do the CEO things, which position us to work on the business and not just in the business. And honestly, when we start working more on the business, we start to see the business grow even more.
Yeah, absolutely. And you saying that, it was like she was speaking to me in some way of saying, here it is, there's the person you need to be working with, so that you can continue moving forward. So yeah.
Oh, just touch my heart. Don't make me cry in front of everybody. Okay, so my next question. Of course, you don't have to give numbers or anything, but how have we helped you, hence the name, Say Yes to Profits? How have we helped you maximize cash flow? How have we helped you kind of get your taxes in order? Like, let's talk a little bit about that.
Oh, so much. I mean, even you saying taxes, that was such a relief to hear that, like, as part of the service, that I could also like to have my taxes done with y'all, because it just helped me to say, okay, I could have all of this kind of taken care of, which was such a relief. And I think one thing that has just been kind of a little bit of a pain for me to figure that out. But like I said earlier, I think one of the biggest things has been, when I jump on those calls, the way I'm able to kind of see the progress that I'm making. It makes it easier for me to know what I should be looking for, what I should be working towards. What are the things, like when I'm not sure, like what direction I should be going in. It helps to kind of guide a path, like, okay, we need to be doing this, we can be looking at this, which makes it easier when I'm doing other things, or when I'm seeking contracts, or when I'm seeking anything else, that I know what my game plan is. I know what I'm working with. Even if I don't have it all, I know what I should be working towards. And so it's really helped me to say yes. It's helped me say yes, to say, yeah, I can do this, because I've already done it. This is, I'll tell you, to just show me the numbers. I've already been doing this, so I can continue doing this. That's how.
Okay. So what would you share with anyone that are listening to us right now or watching the video? What would you share with them if they're considering working with Say Yes to Profits, but for whatever reason, they're on the fence?
I would say, like, take a chance on yourself. I feel like that's what I did in this, is, I could be worried about, is there enough money? Is there enough this? But to know that this peace of mind that I have, that my finances are being cared for in the way that that they deserve to, so that I can continue doing the work that I'm passionate about. That if you are in that place of feeling like something else needs to change, something needs to shift, but you're not sure what, and you're not sure where to go, that this is an opportunity to to say yes to yourself, and in turn, that saying yes to profit definitely it comes along with it, right? I feel like that's the extra part, but
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. And we service two companies for you. Yes, she
yeah.
is a what do I call it? Like a multi-entrepreneur. I forgot the term.
I don't even know, but yeah,
Serial
I run
entrepreneur. Serial
serial
entrepreneur. Yeah.
entrepreneur. I'm a serial
I-
entrepreneur. Yeah, I
Yes.
think I am. But yeah, so I have this, and then I have the nonprofit that you help me kind of manage the finances for that, which is still growing in its growth phase, which is exciting as well, and has definitely helped us to look at where my team with that, where we're going, and what we should be doing as we continue wanting to expand the services of that organization over the next couple of years. So yes, definitely helping us lay the foundation, which is really, really exciting.
Nice. Okay. So is there anything else in closing that you would like to share with our listeners?
I would just say that what I am learning around a lot of this work that you've been supporting me in doing, that is really helping me to get clear
Mhm.
on ways, in my own personal life. Like, been able to, my partner and I just bought a house. Like,
Yes.
we've been talking about that. We bought a house just a couple of weeks ago because I felt clear in my financial path, my taxes, all of that stuff, which I had been trying to do that for a number of years. Also helping me to feel confident that I can take some time off of work, which I plan on doing in the next month.
Yes.
Finally, it's been, the journey of starting this business. I've never taken time off of it, that I plan on kind of shutting it down for a month to focus
Mhm.
on my health, which just feels exciting. And I know I'm gonna start right back up and still be in it and not be depleted. So that's it. I just wanted to say thank you to your team for really just helping me to get to that place and to feel confident enough that I can step away from my business and that it'll still be here.
Yes, and you mentioned three things that we say often, gaining financial clarity, gaining financial control, and financial confidence. And you
Yeah.
just mentioned that you've received both of those. And honestly, I feel like that's the path, right? To say yes to
Mhm.
profits when you have that
Yeah,
clarity, when you have that control and that confidence in what's going
absolutely.
on. And as you just mentioned, you're about to take an extended time off and you'll be okay. And that's
Yep.
because you have that foundation, right? You have that savings, you have all the things, and you've been so diligent and really, really great at implementing the strategies that we discussed. Like literally we'll go over something and within the next day or week or so, it's done in your business. And that is one of the best feelings ever as a CFO,
Yep.
to see like your clients implementing the things and then to see the results, right? And achieving great results. So
Thank
kudos to
you.
you as well, Allison.
Thank you.
Again, kudos to you.
Thank you. Well, I will also say the biggest thing also that right now is I just brought on my first assistant yesterday, thanks to you for helping me with that action item. And I'm so excited. So yeah.
Yes, yes. So you're doing some major things, right? So you just brought on your first assistant, you just closed on your home, your business is growing by leaps and bounds. You are doing some amazing things. So I
Thank you.
am so grateful to be on this journey with you, and I look forward to continuing on this journey as well. So thank you, thank
Thank
you, thank
you.
you.
Thank you,
So
Alli.
in closing, I would love for you to tell our listeners how they can find out more about both of your companies.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, both of my organizations, they focus on pretty much the same thing, wellness, and how we can support either ourselves and our businesses with making sure that we are well and the folks we work with are well and our communities are well. So OMGirl Alli, you can find me at allisimon.com, ALLISIMON.com, on Instagram at OMGirl Alli, or OMGirl Allison on Instagram. I keep up with on Instagram there a lot. And then for Black Being, which is a nonprofit organization, it can be found at blackbeingla.org.
Nice. And I'll include all of her links and information to find out more about Allison and OMGirl Alli, as well as Black Being, in the description of this video. And I want to thank everybody for taking the time to watch or listen, depending on what platform that you're on. If you have any questions for us, definitely leave those below. And if you're interested in speaking with myself or a member of our team regarding CFO services, definitely visit sayyesToProfits.com. All right, everyone. Until next time, say yes to profits. Toodles.
Say yes to profits.
Yay. All righty.